You click the button, Return Item. It feels clean, simple. You print the label, drop the package off at a UPS store or Whole Foods, and within a few days, the money is back in your account. For you, the story's over. But for that product you just returned, that pair of headphones that wasn't quite the right color, that book with a slightly bent corner, that air fryer that was a little too big for your counter, its journey has just begun. You probably imagine your returned item is carefully inspected, repackaged, and placed right back on a virtual shelf, ready for the next customer. In some cases, you're right. But for millions upon millions of products, what happens next is a descent into a massive, hidden, multi-billion-dollar ecosystem. A secret afterlife that takes your return on a wild journey from a high-tech warehouse to a dusty flea market, a crowded liquidation bin, or even a landfill. This is the story of what really happens when you return an Amazon package. The journey begins the moment your package arrives back at an Amazon facility. It's not a regular fulfillment center, it's a dedicated return center. Think of it as a massive sorting station, a kind of Ellis Island for unwanted products. Your package is opened by an employee, often called a gatekeeper. Their job is to make a split-second decision that determines the fate of your item. They have mere moments to inspect it and assign it a grade. New condition, lightly used, damaged. Or the most dreaded category, unsellable. This decision isn't just based on the condition of the product itself. It's a cold, hard, economic calculation, often guided by an algorithm. Amazon's system asks one simple question. Is it worth our time and money to try and resell this item? Think about that air fryer you returned. To restock it, an employee has to spend time thoroughly inspecting it, testing it to see if it works, cleaning it, putting it in a new box with all the right manuals and accessories, and then re-entering it into the massive inventory system. For a $50 item, the labor cost of that entire process might be $10 or $15. If the profit margin is too low, it's simply not worth it. If the packaging is slightly torn, it can't be sold as new. If it's a seasonal item, like a Christmas sweater returned in January, it's just taking up valuable warehouse space. If it's a low-cost item from a third-party seller, the seller may have an agreement with Amazon to simply let them dispose of the item, rather than pay to have it shipped back to them. Because of these factors, a shocking percentage of returns never make it back onto Amazon's virtual shelves. Industry experts estimate that only about 20 to 30% of returns are immediately relisted for sale. Another portion is processed for resale through Amazon Warehouse, their official outlet for used and open box items. But a huge volume, more than half of all returns, is condemned to the next stage of its afterlife, liquidation. This is where the secret world truly opens up. Amazon doesn't want these millions of unwanted items piling up in their warehouses. So, they sell them. But they don't sell them one by one. They bundle them together into massive pallets, or even entire truckloads of mixed merchandise. A single pallet can contain hundreds of items, from electronics and clothing to home goods and toys. It's a mystery box on a giant scale. And they sell these truckloads to a new class of middlemen, the liquidators. There are massive publicly traded companies like Liquidity Services and B2B online auction sites like Bstock, which partner directly with Amazon and other big retailers. These platforms are like eBay, but for unwanted inventory. They host online auctions where anyone with a registered business can bid on these truckloads of returns. A truckload might have a retail value of $50,000, but a liquidator might win the auction for just $5,000. They are buying it blind. They get a manifest, a list of what's supposed to be in the truckload, but it's often vague. It might say, general merchandise, or home goods. They don't know the exact condition of the items until the truck backs up to their warehouse and they crack open the doors. These large liquidators then break down the truckloads. They sort the items by category and condition. The best stuff, the high-value electronics, the new in-box appliances, they might sell individually on their own websites or directly to smaller retailers. But the bulk of the merchandise gets repackaged onto smaller, more manageable pallets. And these pallets are then sold to the next level of the ecosystem. The small business owners, the side hustlers, the modern-day treasure hunters. This has spawned an entire subculture, a booming cottage industry fueled by YouTube and TikTok. You've probably seen these videos. Someone buys a $1,000 Amazon returns pallet, sets up a camera in their garage, and unboxes it to see if they struck gold or bought a pile of junk. For some, it's a hobby. For others, it's a full-time business. These pallet flippers buy a pallet for, say, $800. Inside, they might find a brand new laptop, a dozen returned coffee makers, a box of mismatched shoes, a broken television, and 50 phone cases for an outdated iPhone model. Their job is to sift through this modern-day wreckage and extract every last bit of value. They test the electronics. They clean the slightly used items. They bundle the low-value products together. Then, they turn to the vast ecosystem of the secondary market. The brand new laptop goes on eBay. The coffee makers get listed on Facebook Marketplace. The box of mismatched shoes and the phone cases might be sold at a local flea market or a garage sale. Every item is a small gamble, a tiny battle to turn a profit. And in recent years, a new type of retail store has exploded in popularity, becoming the final destination for many of these returns: the liquidation bin store. These stores, often with names like Bin Sanity or Crazy Hot Deals, are the retail world's Wild West. They buy truckloads of returns from liquidators and dump everything into giant, chaotic bins. The business model is a masterclass in controlled chaos. On Friday or Saturday, when the bins are freshly stocked, everything costs a flat price, say $12. Customers dig through the bins, hoping to find a hidden treasure: a stray iPad, a designer purse, a high-end power tool. As the week goes on, the price drops. On Sunday, everything is $10. On Monday, $8. By Thursday, the last dregs in the bins might cost just $1. This is the final, frantic stage of the journey for many returned products. That air fryer you sent back could end up in one of these bins, sold for a fraction of its price to a bargain hunter. It's a strange circular economy, where one person's return becomes another person's treasure. But there is a darker side to this story. What happens to the items that even the bin stores can't sell? What about the products that are truly broken, unsanitary, or simply worthless? This is the final tragic destination in the afterlife of a return: the landfill. For years, investigations by journalists in multiple countries have exposed a devastating secret. In warehouses in the UK and Canada, reporters placed hidden cameras and tracked brand new, perfectly good items that were returned to Amazon: laptops, televisions, books. They watched as these items were sorted into boxes marked "Destroy." These boxes were then loaded onto trucks and sent directly to recycling centers to be crushed, or worse, dumped in a landfill. Why would a company destroy perfectly good products? The answer, again, is cold, hard economics and branding. Sometimes it's cheaper to simply dispose of an item than to process it, store it, or ship it to a liquidator. For third-party sellers, especially those overseas, paying to have a single item returned to them is not cost-effective. They instruct Amazon to destroy it instead. There's also a brand protection element. A luxury brand doesn't want its expensive products showing up in a chaotic liquidation bin for $5. It devalues their image. To maintain an aura of exclusivity, some brands would rather have their returned items destroyed than see them on the secondary market. In response to public outcry over this waste, Amazon has made public commitments to reduce the number of items it sends to landfills. They have launched donation programs with organizations like Good 360, which distribute returned goods to charities. They claim that their goal is zero product disposal. However, the scale of the problem is immense. The sheer volume of returns in our modern buy it and try it culture is staggering. In the US alone, consumers return hundreds of billions of dollars worth of merchandise every year. Processing this reverse tsunami of goods is one of the biggest logistical challenges of our time. And while many items find a new life through liquidation and resale, the environmental footprint of our return culture, the extra shipping, the packaging, the waste, is undeniable. So, the next time you click that return item button on Amazon, the story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. It's the secret afterlife of your Amazon return, a journey that reveals the true, hidden cost of our endless desire for convenience.